Thoroughbreds are go. Brought to you by Thoroughbred Breeders Australia and Ozhorse. Supporting thoroughbreds in every stage of life, on and off the track.
Hello, I'm Caroline Searcy. Welcome to a new week of our Australian thoroughbred rehoming program, Thoroughbreds are go. Coming up this week, we visit renowned thoroughbred vet Bridget Bester at Hunter Equine at Scone Racecourse and look at the work required from a veterinary perspective to ensure a happy and healthy ex-racehorse moving into a new career. We catch up with Racing Victoria's Mel Ware to hear about their big spring thoroughbred event at Boneo Park, and a former Hong Kong Group 1 star back at his birthplace, Kia Ora Stud. That's all coming up on this episode of Thoroughbreds Are Go. This segment of Thoroughbreds Are Go is brought to you by Inglis, celebrating graduates both on and off the track. Bridget Bester has long been one of the most experienced and respected thoroughbred vets in New South Wales, and her passion for the breed extends into her recreational time in the hunting scene around Scone. So what are the things you need to look for from a veterinary perspective when you're taking on a thoroughbred in a new role? Bridget, we're here in Scone, of course, the horse capital of Australia, and this is a fabulous facility you have here, veterinary practice, dealing with a lot of racehorses, but also a lot of horses that are off the track. Tell us a bit about your day-to-day work and your involvement with the racing industry.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline. Here we are in Hunter Equine Centre at Scone Racetrack. The hospital's been here for about 5 years. The practice is in its 16th year, I guess, yeah. So we're very lucky here. We have lots of lovely discerning studs here that we're able to facilitate, and that takes up quite a lot of our time. And then we service quite a few of the trainers here at the racetrack. So it's a really nice mix, we enjoy it. I've been around long enough now that we sort of see some of them all the way from follicle to finishing post, which is a bit cheesy, but you know, it's nice to follow them through and then see them come back through the barn and keep them going in 3 generations. It's great.
And there's so much work involved with thoroughbreds when they're racing, isn't there? I mean, it's again, with any athlete, there's so much you must keep on top of. And the same thing, of course, also, when you're talking nutrition or general, temperament training for thoroughbreds, as you said, right from, all the way through, from when they're born to racing and onwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of it does come down to management and prevention. And, we see with a lot of our more discerning clients how much less we have to do because there is a lot of preventative work that can be done, and that's really nice when we see that sort of doing well for the horses, that's the aim and the clients. So yeah, absolutely, a lot of it's sort of health management and the reproductive work, helping with the foals, the yearlings, the sales, and helping the trainers out.
And then, of course, the evolution goes on to off the track. So you have this gorgeous big son of Zoo Star out of a Fastnet Rock mare. He's a beautiful, lovely horse. You've been hunting yesterday with him.
Yeah,
you do some eventing and a bit of dressage and so on. Tell us a bit about him.
Well, yeah, he's a great horse. We had the mare who unfortunately died with some friends and clients at Eden Glassy Stud. He is now just turning 6. And we kept a bit of him after the sales, and he showed a lot of promise, but unfortunately chipped his knees. So they were operated on, and he's a big, heavy horse, and there was always just something niggling him. He never came back. I was fortunate enough to have him arrive at my place and, a year ago, and he's just never looked back. He's just great fun. I'm not a competitive rider by any extent, but my daughter is, and it's been great. I just tag along with her and we have so much fun. And it was a new concept to me, how versatile and enjoyable the off-the-track thoroughbred could be when I came to Australia. I think in the UK, we're so much more confined by stables and things. It just, you know, and they're probably not as across the equestrians managing them, because they are a hotter animal. But in the right environment, with the right education, I've always had an off-the-tracker for 16 years now, and we've never had a bad one. We've been lucky they've come through great clients, or, you know, friends of ours up at Vantage Hill, the Richardson. They tend to break in a lot of the horses we have something to do with. So that breaking in experience just means when they come back to us as riding horses, they can be, you know, so versatile.
Yeah, with Blair and Nikki, or, you know, even with Hanover Lodge and, you know, Hinnock and Jade, they come from an equestrian background, and we're seeing a lot more of that. And how do you see that as the benefit? Obviously, that they're taught to, you know, trot around in figure eights. They're not necessarily the get on and go type training of the past in their early education.
Yeah, and it's really helpful for their mouths, you know, and listening. And again, that's not something we see necessarily in the UK. Where I'm from is the equestrian's been so heavily involved in that part of it. I think the horses are very lucky to get that education early on. Also, a lot of the studs around here I've seen over the sort of 20 years I've been here, or probably 25 now. You know, they invest a lot of time these days in the weaning handling process. We've got some beautiful horse people around here, like, you know, Matt Laura and people like that, that our clients use, that really give that horse such a good start. So it means at yearling time, when we're x-raying them and scoping them, it's so much easier. And then when they go through to the next stage, you know, they're sort of set up for life. And I don't think we can emphasize the importance of doing that for these horses. It's really, really valuable.
If a horse is not necessarily, you know, a world beater, what are the benefits of saying, look, do we need to push this horse on for another 5 starts? Like, from a veterinary point of view, is it better sometimes to pull up stumps and save them from that wear and tear?
Yeah, I mean, it's all miles on the clock, isn't it? But it's very horse specific. I mean, some horses can have over 100 starts and retire sound, and some horses just are never fully sound for whatever reason. You know, whether it's conformational or, you know, like my guy out there, he's just a bit too heavy, I think. Whereas as an event horse, I mean, he's never had a lame day. And I think the galloping action, there's a lot more sort of weight down their forelimbs and the front of their legs, so, you know, their knees and things, you know, they jar up pretty quickly if they're loading those places heavily in gallop. Whereas, you know, when we're using them differently and they're using their hind ends more in the equestrian sports, it's a whole different range of soundness issues we get. So the horses that might just always be niggly in their sort of knees and front fetlocks, you know, we rarely treat those locations in equestrian horses or eventing horses. And they do a lot of work, often a lot more hours a week of work, but it's just very different. So, you know, the horses that are hard to rehome are the ones that have been pushed to the point of injury, you know, and then the joints become a bit more degenerative, and they're harder to keep sound.
There is a responsibility, isn't there, to maybe, you know, get that looked at, or you might need to pay for a surgery and actually give that horse a chance to be productive and have a great life doing something. Whereas if you just say, well, we're not going to do anything with it and we'll just move it on, it's a big question for the industry, isn't it?
I find it frustrating. I mean, you know, we're lucky with most of our clients. They're very responsible, but I mean, we have a responsibility to these horses. If you choose to have a horse, you know, you have a responsibility to a certain extent to do the right thing by that animal, I think. They don't need to be top-level athletes necessarily, and you know, if we can find the right places where these horses can be hacking horses or up on stations and things like that, then sometimes that's fine, because they're not sort of jumping and galloping potentially. They're all very different. They have different characters. I've really enjoyed over the years being able to, through our client base, sort of rehome quite a lot of horses off the track. You know, people get very fond of them, and then we've got a lot of people looking for them, because I mean, they're amazing animals to ride and things when you get them going nicely. I mean, it's incredible that they're for free, I think. It's almost like riding a Ferrari or something, you know? My 10-year-old daughter rides my horse and trotted it up at the weekend in a 3-day event and things, and he's just a gentle giant. And to be honest, I think I'll be lucky to hang on to him. I think she's got her eye on him already. But yeah, it was a great day yesterday. We would have done about 50 Ks, and probably in the field there would have been, I don't know, a dozen horses, and the 3 off the trackers were the standout horses. They were definitely the stars of the field. So.
It's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, the hunting side is something, you know, it's not as big as it used to be, but there's another great avenue, and they just excel at that, don't they?
Absolutely, and you know, it's quite nice. You know, it's not competitive, so if you're not like an elite equestrian like myself, it's quite nice just to be in that environment enjoying lovely horses, you know. You know, they just need the ride education at some point in their lives. So whether that's, yeah, as a weanling or when it's been broken in or as it comes off the track, it just needs somebody to teach them a new language, basically. You know, we talked earlier about, you know, they were talking French before, now they've got to talk German, and it's just a process, but you know, with the right people, it can really pay off for them.
Some great knowledge there, and thanks to Bridget Bester for her time with Thoroughbreds Go. Coming up after the break, thanks to our good friends at Barristock, we catch up and find out all the latest from Racing Victoria's off-the-track team. This segment of Thoroughbreds Go brought to you by Barristock, trusted by Australia's leading equestrians and backed by Kentucky Equine Research. Horses come first. This spring, Racing Victoria held its largest competition for thoroughbreds only at Bonio Park, continuing the great work by principal racing authorities in rewarding those who take on this special breed. I caught up with OTT team leader Melissa Ware to find out the latest from Racing Victoria. It's fantastic to talk to you right in the middle of Melbourne Cup Week at Flemington, and we're here to talk about, in particular, the inaugural off-the-track carnival that was presented by Bonio Park in September on the Mornington Peninsula. It sounds as if it was an absolutely fantastic event.
We thought it would be a great event. It's the first year that we had launched and run the event, but you know, we're still overwhelmed by the enormous success of the off-the-track carnival. We had nearly 400 retired racehorses competing over 2 days. We had $235,000 of prize money on offer, 17 championships across 4 disciplines, and it was just a weekend to remember.
This is what it's all about, isn't it? You know, they cost a fair amount to have any horse, but to really encourage riders to get a little bit back when they're able to compete with their ex-racehorses is so important.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Caro. So our off-the-track program at Racing Victoria supports over 200 events all across equestrian disciplines statewide, but we really wanted to develop one flagship event which is where the off-the-track carnivals come about. And that's just from feedback from OTT owners and riders. We really set out to make the event affordable, accessible, and we really want to drive demand of retired racehorses, but we really wanted to bring together the racing and the equestrian communities. And we did that through a number of initiatives, from our specialist Victorian Racing Industry Bonus Awards through to our celebrity show jumping, which was our trainers versus jockeys versus elite equestrians. And the crowd at Bonio was enormous. The vibe was fantastic, and I think everyone was on the edge of their seats with excitement to see who was going to win that celebrity challenge. The elite equestrians just won out in the end, but it was super exciting.
Yeah, it looks at, I mean, Janie Mellum, you know, she's just such a great horsewoman, isn't she? She was in the Carl Holt Zaki colours, Matt Laurie, of course, leading trainer in Victoria, and Jason Warren. You know, really good to see so many people involved. Amanda Ross, you know, she's a top Australian equestrian, and having them all mixing together is just fabulous.
It was incredible to have such talent, whether they're, former champions or current champions in their field, was incredible. They're just amazing horse people, and to see them, some of them out of their comfort zones in the show jumping round, was so awesome. The crowd was enormous, and we just absolutely loved it.
And what's really great is you see, people like Amanda Ross or these leading equestrian riders that they're transferring from one state to the other with their off-track thoroughbreds. It's really great to see that they're actually making a career really of going around a lot of these events because the prize money is so good.
That's right. And so part of Racing Victoria's off-the-track program and our off-the-track carnival is that it doesn't matter where you live, as long as your thoroughbred is registered in a stud book, you are welcome to come and compete in Victoria. And so we had competitors from South Australia, New South Wales, from Tassie. Obviously the bulk came from Victoria, but it's really awesome to see all different competitors who were super enthusiastic about their OTTs. And we designed the event to be very accessible. So everything from a 60 centimetre class up to more elite heights. Whether that's in jumping and dressage up to our elementary classes. The idea was it's affordable, accessible. We were able to work with Boneo Park on an event sanctioning agreement with Equestrian Australia. So that meant that you didn't need to just be a member of one organisation to compete. And we really worked hard with Boneo Park to keep those entry fees at an affordable level around that $100 mark.
I'm interested in how you manage this. Obviously Racing Victoria's, supporting this event, but also the VRC, Melbourne Racing Club, Godolphin do so much in this space, My Racehorse, even the Hong Kong Jockey Club. Tell us about how you manage to attract sponsors for this sort of event, because it's so important the racing industry gets behind the off-track thoroughbreds.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we probably didn't really go that hard on sponsorship this year. We were just really focused on delivering the event, but we had some incredible sponsors that came on board. Next year we will definitely look to grow this event, so it'll become a big industry-wide event that we're really proud to promote retired racehorses and life after racing, particularly in the lead up to Spring Carnival. Next year will be bigger and better. We've already got planning underway, but the amazing sponsors that we had on board this year were just so fantastic to work with. And of course, Boneo Park, Fiona Selby and her team are incredible operators, and we just love working with them.
And the off-the-track community is quite incredible. And you have this wall of claim with now thousands of horses that have been claimed through the OTT community. Explain how that works and where that's at the moment.
That's right, Caro. So to improve traceability and visibility of retired racehorses once they leave the racing industry and the care of industry participants, Racing Victoria's off-the-track community platform is all about increasing that visibility and traceability. And this year, our wall of claim was over 5 metres long, and we've just ticked over 7,000 claimed retired racehorses. So there's 7,000 horses that have retired from racing that we've got updated addresses and locations for, so we can really just keep in touch with where those horses are at. The beauty of the wall of claim is that it really became that media wall. People were having photos up there with their horse and their horse's names. We had the Melbourne Cup in front of the wall, and it was just really a centrepiece at over 5 metres long.
And I love some of the stories that come out of this. I mean, a horse like Gilded Prince won only under $2,000 on the track and has won nearly $6,000 off the track. So, it's incredible, and the buzz that you get is the same as winning races, we keep telling people. So you would have seen a lot of that sort of through the couple of days.
Absolutely. That's one of our big messages. You don't have to be a champion on the track to succeed in your post-racing career. And some of those horses, they've now won more prize money off the track than they won on the track. So there's definitely a job and a home out there for every thoroughbred, and it's just about finding the right role for the right horse.
It's One Goom. Helginski's getting fairly close. One Goom hanging on. One Goom.
And some great stories. I mean, the Warrnambool trainer Matthew Williams was competing on a horse that he'd bred and trained, and then he rode it in the celebrity show jumping round. And it's really interesting. A lot of people that are in training or pre-training, they're now, I guess, getting more into the equestrian side of things.
Oh, absolutely. We love the Williams family and the stories. They're so committed to breeding, racing and post-racing. The fact that Matthew and Ultra bred the little horse called One Goom, not only bred him, trained and raced him, and now Matthew's competing him. He was in the celebrity show jumping round, but also competing out there in different horse trials is just, to me, it just sums up people's love of racing and equestrian, and it's just such a great story, and I love seeing the Williams family out there doing so well, whether it's in racing or in equestrian. They're literally going to the races Saturday and equestrian events on Sunday. So I just think that really sums up the passion and the love for the horse.
And someone like Jen Duffy, who's a Racing Victoria Retrainer of the Year, it really shows, with her success in winning the show jumping championship on Not Torah More, it shows, I guess, that, you know, these retrainers, people can learn from them because they're taking horses right through to a good level of competition themselves. They're not just sort of retraining and handing them on. They're actually showing riders what you can do when you really pursue, you know, training the one horse to a good level.
Oh, that's exactly right. So Jen, she's our Retrainer of the Year, but also Luaby competed and Grace Chandler also took home some prize money. And it was so awesome to see the people that we work really closely in our post-racing program succeed at the Off the Track Carnival. Jen is just an absolute ambassador for racing. Whether she's pre-training, doing track work or retraining, she just is an absolute ambassador for all things racing and post-racing. And yeah, it's so wonderful to see people like Lou and Grace and Jen having success in this way.
So looking ahead, I mean, there's always something new that's happening, and I guess, you know, you're very visible through the Melbourne Cup Carnival through this week. And what else is going on within the Racing Victoria off-the-track space?
So this week, coming into Melbourne Cup Week, we've actually got an activation on site at Flemington across the 4 days, and that's all about bringing racegoers in to learn about horse care, education, saddlery and tack, so people can really understand, if they don't know already, the work and effort, love and care that goes into supporting racehorses and thoroughbreds in their post-racing career. So the team is super excited for the coming 4 days. We can't wait to speak with members and racegoers and really engage and learn about more post-racing careers and care of the horse.
And National Thoroughbred Week's coming up from the 20th to the 24th of November. What's happening in Victoria that you're involved with?
Oh, Carrie, this is a super exciting new initiative that Racing Victoria, our owners team and our off-the-track team are really excited to sponsor. So we will be working with different clubs, but also our acknowledged retrainer Jade Willis up at Barnawatha is having an open day. So that's going to be super exciting for people to get in there to learn about retraining, life after racing and the careers that we've got on offer. Some of the race clubs are getting involved and some of the studs like Yulong as well. So it's going to be a really exciting week, I think, not only in Victoria but Australia-wide. Open up the doors so people can really see what goes on in racing stables and in pre-training and retraining and breeding yards as well.
And, you know, the take-up of thoroughbreds off the track, you know, we all know there's still sort of work to do and everyone's working really hard to make sure there are pathways for ex-race horses and even breeding stock and horses that haven't raced. But what do you see with the work you're doing? How far do you think it has come, say, just in the last few years? Because it seems as if the take-up is far, far greater within the equestrian world now.
Yeah, look, we don't ever want to take our foot off the pedal, but we probably don't have the opportunity and don't often stop to think how far we have come. In our off-the-track programs alone, we had over 5,000 entries last year in our off-the-track sponsored events, and that's really grown just through our one event as well with our off-the-track carnival with 400 horses competing. So there is a demand for retired racehorses. It is all about continuing to put the right horse in the right job. So they're a bit like people. Not every job necessarily suits every single horse, but it's about finding their niche, what they're good at, and placing them in, you know, suitable and caring homes.
So many people working so hard in every state and territory to promote thoroughbreds away from the racetrack in their new homes. Coming up after the break on Thoroughbreds Go, thanks to Frank and Christine Cook's Mystery Downs in Where Are They Now? We catch up with a former Hong Kong star, Wellington, back at his birthplace, Kia Ora Stud. Thoroughbreds Go, Where Are They Now? Proudly brought to you by Mystery Downs, Breeding and Racing.
Wellington, he's back to his best, baby. He's a sprint winner.
It's great to have Wellington back here, the son of All Too Hard, who's obviously just up the road. He came back after winning multiple Group 1s in Hong Kong, and it's really great to have him back. Since Wellington's been back with us, he now looks after our older racehorses like geldings and colts. He's pretty good at disciplining them. You can see why he was such a superstar, because he's pretty tough, but he keeps them in line and he does a great job. He's just out in the paddock every day with them. They all get fed, and because all the horses that Wellington's looking after are really well fed, he's also being really well fed. So it's a really good job for him post-racing to keep him in good nick. What's really good about Wellington is he has a really strong character, so he's very good for this job because he keeps them in line and he helps them possess the good qualities that a good racehorse needs, being tough and eating up. So Wellington's really good because he keeps them calm. He's quite a calm-natured horse after feed time, so they learn to relax in the paddock and they're not running around worrying about stuff. So we find when they go back into the stable they're a lot calmer and they can progress into their work a bit better. So it's obviously quite a big deal for us getting Wellington back. He was such a superstar in Hong Kong, and it's really great for all the staff to see what a champion racehorse is made of, and he's a great looking animal. And the owner's going to come and see him this summer, which is exciting. It's really great that there's such a strong initiative from Hong Kong to get horses to come back here, and that they're willing to pay for them to come back to Australia and spell, especially for Wellington to come back to where he was bred. It's really good to see that the owners care about these horses, and it's really great for the industry too.
That is Thoroughbreds Our Go for this week. Don't miss next week's show as we catch up with Godolphin Lifetime Care's Taylor Gilmore, looking at some of the stars of the track and some of the slower versions who they sponsored at this year's Equimillion. I'm Caroline Searcy. I look forward to seeing you then.
Thoroughbreds Our Go, brought to you by Thoroughbred Breeders Australia and Ozhorse, supporting thoroughbreds in every stage of life, on and off the track.